Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tax Show for People Who Owe. I'm Dave.
And I'm Phil.
And today we're talking about what's up for grabs. What's up for grabs, Phil, when it comes to the IRS?
Anything with value.
Okay, so our commercials say, you've heard all these commercials, your paycheck, your bank account, your home, your business. Not really going after these things, are they?
Well, they can, and often they do. It really depends.
Wow. So let's talk about specifically the two major topics that people are most concerned about. And that's probably their bank account, which is probably more relevant than the home or business in most cases. How does that IRS find your bank account?
Well, they have access to all your financial information, one through your transcripts, but they can obviously subpoena and issue summons for that information, and they'll find out where you bank and how much is in the account.
So the reporting on any interest, is that kind of how they're finding? Because the financial institutions report interest. Is that how the IRS is backtracking and finding our bank accounts?
I don't know what the secret sauce is, but IRS these days has access to AI tools and a lot of financial information. So I'm pretty sure it's a few clicks away.
Are you telling me it's harder and harder to hide from them?
Absolutely.
Okay, everything's interconnected nowadays. So let's hone in on what we can do if that inevitable levy occurs into your bank account. Is that money gone?
No, David. Actually, that's a false assumption that many taxpayers make, and they panic, right? You actually have 21 days to resolve it with the IRS, and there's no guarantee it's going to be released, but you do have some time to get those funds back.
Got it. So how do our customers typically find out about this levy that's occurred to their bank account?
Usually they go to an ATM and they try to pay something with their bank card and insufficient funds.
So you're telling me in most cases they've ignored the letters and warnings of this bank levy that was going to happen?
Right. It doesn't happen out of the blue. Usually this is a measure of last resort for the IRS.
Good point. It's something they don't want to do. It's an attempt to gain your attention about a pending tax matter, correct?
And that's a great point. Even with wage levies, which are continuous, not just a one-time event, they only leave you with a few $100s. They know you can't survive on it. And to your point, it's an attempt to get your attention, to really engage, to resolve your tax problems.
All right, Phil. So you mentioned 21 days. Are you telling me still at the financial institution for those 21 days?
It is. They're holding it and they won't remit it or send it to the IRS until the 22nd day.
Okay. Say it's day 23 and I call the IRS and I realize the IRS made a mistake. How am I going to get that money back?
So the money won't be returned directly. And depending on the mistake, say you actually don't owe that tax bill, right? Yeah. You forgot to report your stock basis. In that case, you'll have to submit a refund claim. You're still out that money and it may take some time, but you can get the results you want.
Especially if it's a tax year that's older and you have to submit a paper return.
Yep.
What are we looking at to unwind a levy when it was an unjust levy? You can prove that you don't owe it.
If you have to amend your return right now, you're waiting 8 to 12 weeks in ideal conditions.
Ideal. It's in practice a lot longer than that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so that tells you how important it is to pay attention to the notices, the warnings of the levies, the CP 504s, and these kind of things to avoid the downstream impact, because it's very difficult to unwind. That's what we do every day. Okay, Phil, let's talk about some other assets that are up for grab. They don't really come after our homes, do they?
They do, especially if you've been assigned to the field or a revenue officer. They can send a referral to the Department of Justice and they'll sign off on auctioning off your home.
Sounds scary. Okay, Phil, so how long does this take?
From start to finish, it's going to be very long before you get this exposed where your house is up for seizure. But once it's on sale, time goes very quickly.
So from that point of notice of sale, I'm assuming that's what it is, how many days do we have?
Usually about 10 days to take some action.
10 days. And then what happens?
Well, as it gets sent over to what we call our PALS at the IRS, which stands for Property Appraisal and Liquidation Specialist.
That doesn't sound like PALS to me.
Not really. They set the minimum bid price for every single asset that the IRS gets.
Got it. So this could range from autos, anything with a value, they assess
jewelry,
the value.
Art, homes.
Okay. So you said bid amount. Is that what you said?
Minimum bid.
Does this go on to eBay? Where's this going?
Close enough. IRSauctions.gov hosts all the auctions that the IRS has right now. So if you go online right now today, there's a green minivan, 1.8 acre lot.
Oh, wow.
And some other assets for sale.
Is there any contingency? What are some of the things we should consider if we want to put a bid on one of these homes?
Especially read the fine print when you guys are looking at this site, because you also are bidding on this assets with all encumbrances, meaning any outstanding loans and any other liabilities on the asset. Another final point is to make sure that even if you are successful in your bid and win the house or win the car, I would actually hold your horses, because the taxpayer can, even if you won the auction, come back 180 days later, especially if it's their home, and buy back their property from you.
So don't hire the moving vans yet, right, Phil?
Right.
Okay. So if you are worried about downstream enforcement, or you're really worried about potentially your home being up for grabs, we ask you to call Optima or another practitioner so you get the help you're looking for. Phil, any last parting words?
As usual, do something. As you know now, everything is up for grab that has any value at all. So act today.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching today. Please be sure to like
And subscribe.
so you are up to date with all the information you need when you're taking on the IRS.
And as always, do something.